we do want to try and get through all these callers. So let's get to our next one. We've got Bob from Texas, major health issues. And when people ask, how are you? They don't really want to hear the full story. Bob, how you doing?
Do you really want to know?
Well, yeah.
That's what we're here for.
That's the whole premise of what I want to talk about. Sometimes people will ask, how you doing? They really don't want to hear how I'm doing if it's not good. Okay. So what I advise, and just a piece of advice, is that if you really don't want to know how somebody's doing, just say, hey, I hope you're having a good day.
Yes. Okay.
You know? And then that you dismiss having to listen to their well-embellished story of how sick they are or what's going on. You know, it's just, hey man, I hope you're having a good day. And I know when I've told people that, you know, because you know, they'd ask how I was doing, and I'd say, you really want to know? Yeah. And I'd start, and then I could hear them sigh, and it's like, look, we're going to stop this right now. Next time, just say, I hope you're having a good day. That makes me feel better than having to tell and relive how awful I'm feeling because of the chemo or this, that, and the other, you know. So even if I'm not having a great day, I'll say, well, I've had better days, but it's okay. And just because what you said makes me feel better, you know, and then boom, that conversation is over and we move on to the next topic. You know?
I love this, Bob. I agree. So I actually learned this from working in the bar because, you know, when I would DJ, oftentimes people would come up and talk to me, and it was, hey, how you doing? And as much as I do want to know and want to help people, when I'm DJing, I can't like hear a long story. Like I have to be working. So I started adjusting my statement to say, hey, good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think that is a great practice to put in place.
I think that a good way to do that is to start. Go ahead.
Y'all were on another topic about psychotropic medications. All right. And you talked about a book. Now, this is a change of topic. Years ago, I was diagnosed as being clinically depressed, and they put me on a cocktail of psychotropic drugs, antidepressants. You know, it's like every month they're shaking this stuff up, going, well, try this. And people around me were saying, dude, this stuff's weirding you out worse than you already are. I mean, hey, I'm weird and I'm okay with that, but this is making you worse. And so I detoxed off that. And this is just my personal experience. I went to a psychologist and learned how to deal with the certain things that triggered me, whether it was the anxiety, how to see it coming, how to deal with the depression, how to look at, am I setting myself up for failure, which is going to make me depressed? And so I retrained my brain, you know, because it was so easy for me to like hit the reset button in a way. Well, not reset, but like my brain would, I guess, revert back to that little boy, you know. I quit letting that little boy run my life, you know.
Okay.
You know, run home to close the door and hide under the covers and cry. Quit doing that. Learn how to deal with the situation. And that worked for me. So I don't take any psychotropic drugs of any kind. I don't drink.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you ever learn how to cry?
Sure.
But did you though?
Say that again.
What do you mean by sure?
Yeah, I know how to cry.
Like, but do you cry? Did you learn how to?
Yeah.
Like not.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay, because it just sounds to me like you're saying that you've taught yourself not to, and I just wanted to clarify and get that straight and try to understand where you're coming from and be correct about it.
No, there's a certain time to and everybody's level of crying is different. I mean, somebody break down on the floor and start, just wallowing in the tears, or to make a scene for everybody, or does somebody take a day or a few moments to feel the sorrow, feel the pain, and that's part of it. Emotions happen with every breath. With everything I see, it triggers an emotion. And for me, I feel that emotion, I let it wash over me, and I move on to the next one. I don't hold on to them.
So that is an important tool, and I'm glad that you learned that. But just for people who are watching, if you are that person that is making the scene, crying, screaming, flailing with your hands going everywhere on the floor, if that is you, that doesn't mean that that's who you are, or that's the kind of crier you are. That means that you have been pushed to that limit. It's on the scale, again, not coming from a mental health professional, a mental health connoisseur. If you are able to do that, where what you're describing, where you process the emotion and you handle it, that's the goal. But if you're somebody who is at the point where you have to have a panic attack in the middle of Walmart, then that means that you have some practicing to do. You have some learning, you have some changes to make to allow yourself to relieve those emotions from your body before you get to that point, because your body is going to get rid of the stress in some way. It's up to you to determine how and when.
Yeah. This process did not happen overnight with me. It took years.
Yeah.
It took years, to different situations. Like, wow, different situations come up, and which make me feel different emotions. Like, man, I hadn't felt that emotion in a while. I gotta learn that one. Learn how to deal with that one. So it's an interesting process of, I guess you would say, self-development, self-reinventing. Just learning about myself. I can't advise other people what to do. I know what works for me, and what works for me does not always work for somebody else.
Right.
But I do see a lot of. It's interesting. A lot of. Well, nothing. I won't even say that. So anyway, so the last time I spoke with you all, I had been working. Right, I was always at work.
Did you have anything else on the topic of emotional consent? Because we have two more callers that we'd really like to get to, but we really want to take care of you too.
Yeah. One more thing. I got fired because I took my service animal to work, and which is illegal. But you know what? Yeah, but I didn't let that emotionally distress me. I just moved along. And sometimes that's what you got to do, is just like, okay, just move along. I can't change anybody but myself. I can't change the world until I change myself.
Well, there are things that you can do. You can report them.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure. Are you? Where are you calling from? Texas. Texas has Texas Workforce Commission, or it's either that organization or there. I know that there's, in every restaurant I've ever worked in, there is a big poster explaining your rights as a worker in Texas, and you can call them and you can tell them what happened. And so maybe you can't do more than that. Maybe they don't want to continue with the process, but there's usually something that you can do. Yes, it's maybe better for your mental health to just drop it and move on. But for some people, you could be preventing other people from being able to work there with a service animal because nobody's ever been told that this organization isn't allowing it.
Well, it's very simple. Texas is an at-will state. Even though they told me, hey, we're going to let you go because you're bringing your service animal to work, they don't have to tell that to the state. And I didn't have that conversation. So
they have to have documentation of some kind of mistakes that you've made if they don't want to use that excuse.
Yeah. So it is what it is, and that's what I with the service animals. Sometimes we're rejected a lot in the community I live in. And I just move along, and people go, "Man, you ought to sue him." I said, "Well, what is that going to do? You know, I'm going to waste more mental energy and time dealing with these knuckleheads instead of just going down the street to the next restaurant or the next gas station."
That's true. If you can turn that into a positive and just support the people who are allowing it, then that's another thing that you can do.
Yeah. Well, what I try to do is educate them before I leave. Like, okay, you know what? I'm going to leave under protest, but here's the regulations. I'll send your boss the regulations, and it might help the next person. You know, but I don't have the time and energy to waste on that stuff, you know.
And that's understandable.
I can't cure your ignorance. So I'll see you later. So anyway, so look, thanks a lot. I'll keep listening. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
And for those who think that atheists don't participate in Christian holidays, if you're in Texas, in the South, try to go shopping at H-E-B today. Okay? You're participating. Have a good day.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
I really liked that how are you topic, because that has been something I've thought about for a long time, and how at times, and I know people don't intend it that way, but because how are you has become such like it's like just a norm that like people don't actually care when they say it. And I think that we should be more cognizant of when we are saying, how are you?
Well, when you think about how many people work in service industry and they have to put on a service industry voice, they have to present that they want to hear your life story without actually having the time to hear your life story. So there's kind of a trick to having this kind of a response to people you don't know, right? Because when I meet somebody at a store, hi, how are you? I put on that customer service face. I am trying to be more mindful, and by doing so, get myself out of the habit of doing that. Hashtag, like I put in there, denormalize, hi, how are you? But I had a point, but it's gone. Sorry.